Hey, what's up, family? It's Rob Gill, Epic Financial Strategies. And I always say, if you change your style up, watch the money pile up. And that means you got to get educated on what's happening. So today we're going to talk about what is the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k. So let's talk about a Roth IRA. I like to call this the starter kit plan because the thing that I love the most about a Roth IRA is that every dollar you put in there grows and it comes back tax-free. The thing that I find challenging about the Roth IRA is if you make over $85,000 a year, you don't qualify for it. So it's really when you're first getting into the space of understanding money and taxes and having a saving strategy, if you're saving it through a Roth IRA and it's the beginning of the beginning, your future self will thank you when you take the money out because every dollar is tax-free. As we talk about a Roth IRA and we understand the importance of taxation, because taxation without representation is exactly how this country was born, right? If you go back to the Boston Tea Party, let's understand the mechanics of tax-free growth and your money coming back to you, especially later on in life when you have a pool of money and let's say you're 60 years old. Would you rather have $1 million that's tax-free or $1 million when you take it out, it's going to get taxed at ordinary income, which by the way is what happens in a 401k. Whether you qualify for a Roth IRA or not, but love the characteristics of it, tax-free growth, tax-free distribution, check out this video over here because we're going to talk about the rich man's Roth. And folks, keep in mind when it comes to what you could contribute to a Roth IRA, it's a moving target. Every year, the government changes what the income limitation is, whether you're individual or joint. So there's a lot. You always want to check with your account on a year-to-year basis what that looks like. With that being said, though, the characteristics of a Roth IRA is what we love. We want to be able to put as much money into a bucket that not only grows tax-free, but comes back tax-free, providing we're doing it with a long-term strategy in mind. And while the money is growing, we can leverage it for other opportunities. The challenge with a Roth, you can't borrow the money while it's earning a rate of return. So on some of the characteristics, the contribution is tax-free. The distribution is, meaning with after-tax dollars, the distribution is tax-free. But most importantly, we want to create a bucket that allows you to use the money while it's earning a rate of return. The Roth IRA does not do that. However, it is a starter kit towards a greater and bigger plan of what we're going to get into. So now let me talk about a traditional 401k. If you don't do any savings in life and you put money into a 401k, you're better off than someone that's not saving any money at all. Let me just start there. However, in order to understand the 401k, you have to understand history just a little bit and stay with me. I promise I won't bore you. In the 70s, they did away with corporate pensions and they replaced it with 401ks, which basically meant the employer was no longer responsible for your retirement. You, the employee, were. Meaning you have to put money away on a monthly basis, not by law, but that would what you want to be able to do. Every dollar you put in there is with pre-tax dollars, which means you might have heard advisors in the past, and this is not true, say your money grows tax-free. No. It grows tax-deferred. Meaning as you contribute to a 401k, and as the pile of money grows, and if it's properly managed, it'll grow. When you take it out, every single dollar inside that 401k is going to get taxed at ordinary income. And always check my information, please. So for example, if you're 30 and you're putting money, let's say $6,000 a year into a 401k for 30 years, you would have put in, let's say $180,000. By the time you're 60, let's say it's worth $1.5 million if it averaged 8%. Check the numbers, I'm just giving guesstimates. That $1.5 million, when you begin to take it out, is going to get taxed at ordinary income. So don't be fooled by contract wealth versus statement wealth. That statement may say $1.5 million. However, after taxes and inflation, the buying power may be about $900,000 or $1 million. So the question becomes, how do you make your financial decisions? Number one, you have to have a philosophy first. I've said that in the past and I'll say it again. You need to make sure your professionals, your fiduciaries, your estate attorneys, your insurance agents, and your brokers are all on the same page. Which, by the way, if you have your own personal financial website, you can manage those relationships. And if they're on the same page when it comes to what your goal is, if you say, look, My goal is to have every dollar in retirement tax-free. There's a strategy for it. If you say my goal is to have every dollar taxed at ordinary income, there's a strategy for it. There's an alphabet soup of retirement that you have to be educated on, and confuse them, you lose them, because people are looking at 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, pension plans, defined contribution plans, defined benefit plans, and it gets chaotic and it gets confusion. So if you know what your game plan is, if you know the level of risk you want to take, and if you have all of your planners and professionals on the same page, your decisions can be clear and you could weather any storm that comes your way, and at the same time, take advantage of other opportunities and be at the party first on how to grow your wealth. So this is why it's important to understand how your destiny lies in the decisions you make in any area of your life, including finance. Where you put your money is so important. So there's been times that we've had clients referred to us and they're 60, 65, even close to 70, which is when you're forced to take distributions on your 401k. And they really didn't know that that money was going to get taxed. Now, it's nobody's fault except that the messaging and the marketing behind why people buy 401ks isn't clear. You'll always hear them say, buy 401k and invest the difference because it's tax-free. The truth is, by purchasing a 401k, meaning contributing, and then it growing and term insurance expiring by the time you retire, you've now put yourself in a position where you can only live off a certain amount of income for the rest of your life. And technology has us living longer lives. And because of us living longer lives, people are beginning to outlive their money because they didn't factor in the taxation side of their investments. So at the very beginning, I told you I'm going to give you a free gift called the Epic Financial Freedom App. Don't forget to click the link below and subscribe and follow that financial freedom path so you know exactly where you want to go.